Welcome back, day 22 of the 30-day challenge. I just keep having more and more ideas, so I don't know, maybe we'll have to do another 30-day challenge at some point because I just think this is so much fun. Today's class is going to be all about Kurmasana, which is the tortoise pose, and we are going to do a bunch of poses to work toward this very deep forward bend, Kurmasana. So we are going to start on our backs. You're going to need a couple blankets, a strap, a couple of blocks, and I don't promise you'll need all those things, but it's better to have them available than to have to go searching in the middle of class. So come onto your back once you're ready. Use blanket height for support if your head needs a little bit of padding or elevation. One of the key components of Kurmasana is hip adduction, so we're going to be trying to keep the hips pulling in rather than opening wide. And so we're going to start with the reclining frog pose. You're going to lift your right leg and just hook your big toe with your first two fingers and thumb. As you can see, the knee will probably want to go wider. Your job is to squeeze it in near the arm. You can extend the other leg if you want to. What we're attempting to do is take the shin vertically, and every time you exhale, just kind of dipping the top thigh toward the floor. And you'll notice that knee trying to widen or become more obtuse. Keep gently tracking it back toward the elbow or arm. We're going to stay another minute on this side. And all you're doing is every time you exhale, you're just giving a little bit of an extra tug or pull to encourage not only the hip to open, but just to kind of get the top thigh toward the floor. Let's do 3 more exhales here. Finish up here. So know that one day your thigh will touch the floor. If you were to work on this pose quite a bit, you could start to increase your mobility. So we'll try the other side. Take hold of the foot. Your arm is inside the left knee. Feel free to either keep the knee bent since we're just starting, you might be a little stiff, or you could extend your right leg, whatever your body's ready for. And keep squeezing toward the mid body so that you're not flaring the knee out wide. And every time you exhale, dropping that top thigh toward the floor. Really linger in those exhalations. Inhale, you're not really releasing completely, you're just letting up on the pulling. So it's not like you're flying out and bringing the thigh away from the floor, just kind of let up on the pressure or the pulling. And do your best to keep your shin pretty much upright. We'll do 5 more exhales here. Two more. Last one. We'll go ahead and release. You can roll to your side. Come on to hands and knees. We're going to find our way up to standing through downward facing dog. And just clear your mat of anything in your way and then extend your legs. And then you're going to walk your hands toward your feet until you arrive on your feet completely. And if your hands don't meet the floor well here, you can take your blocks. We're going to come into Uttanasana. This is a deep forward bend, Kurmasana, that we're headed toward. And so we really need to get the legs on board, nice and long, nice and supple. So take a few moments here with the concave lumbar position or the flat back position, finding the balance over the feet. And then as you're ready, if you're able to move your hands to the outer feet, you want to join your feet so that there's room for the hands. Otherwise, feel free to keep your hands, your feet wide. Bow deeply toward your legs. We're going to be here a full minute. And just while we're here, so you might notice I don't always use a clock. Like right now, I said we're going to do a minute. I happen to know that for me, 11 breaths is usually a minute. So that's how I'm counting. So at some point, it might be a good exercise for you to just kind of know how many breaths you normally take in a minute, because then you can kind of learn to hold your poses for as long as you want to and know that you don't need a stopwatch. I think we have 3 more breaths to go here. Good. And now go ahead and find your way back to the floor. And you're going to come to sitting on a blanket, a folded blanket. You can also get your strap. So one of the better preparation poses for Kurmasana, for the tortoise pose, is Marichyasana. And we are going to do the forward bend, but we're going to come into the pose from the twist. So you'll start from this pose, Dandasana, with your legs in front of you. Your sitting bones are right on the edge of your blanket. Make sure to take 2 blankets if you feel like your low back is still kind of rounded or slouched. And then activate your legs, pull your toes back so they're above the heels. Press out through the ball mounds. You might even spread your toes. We're going to work with the right knee bending first. So take hold behind the knee, draw the heel in toward the sitting bone. And again, don't let your knee flop out to the side. Again, hip adduction, so you're pulling in toward midline. We're going to begin with the twist. So I'm going to have you place left hand next to left hip. Inhale, raise your right arm. And on your exhale, drop your right arm inside your right thigh and pull the knee into the arm. Turn yourself really well to the left. Take the left hand that's behind, next to your hip, and take it behind you. And you might need to put it up on a block so that you don't lean back. We want you to stay upright with your torso. 5 good breaths here. On this next exhalation, try to maintain the amount of twist that you've established here. You're going to start to tilt your torso toward the extended leg. You're going to reach your right hand out and see if you can grab the left foot. If so, great. Take your left hand around, grab the outer left foot. If not, you'll be working with your strap here to the foot. So if you're holding the strap or the foot, you should be doing either by now. We're going to pull back on the strap of the foot to get the shoulders back, the breastbone forward. Squeeze that right knee toward the shoulder. And essentially what I want you to notice is that you're trying to move the length of your left arm, sorry, right arm, I keep mixing those up today. Trying to move the length of the right arm forward. The reason being is that we're going to attempt to bind this pose. So if you've grown the length of that arm pretty well, you're going to try the following. Release the right hand, turn your right palm to face to the right, and then take the arm and wrap the leg. Bring your left arm around you and connect your hands. If this isn't happening, go back to your strap or holding the foot and bow deeply over the leg. So a big piece of Kurmasana, the final pose, the tortoise, is that there's a lot of action in the shoulders. And so the bound version of Marichyasana that you're doing right now really kind of teaches that and gives that imprint. But wherever you are, if you're on the strap still, you're still getting really good work out of it. Good. Unhook your hands if you are binding, release your strap if you have it. We're all going to sweep the arms up and then release the arms down. Extend your right leg. Give your legs a little bit of a bounce, a little bit of a refresh, maybe a little bit of a massage. You want the legs feeling refreshed and ready for side 2. Scooping the hands behind the left knee. Placing the heel as close to the sitting bone as you can, but make sure your lower back is still upright. Right hand prop next to the right hip, raise the left arm, exhale, drop the arm inside the knee, and slide your right hand behind you, maybe propping it up on that block if you need a little elevation. We don't want to lean back to be on that block or to touch the floor. So use height under the hand if you need to. Every time you exhale, wringing out the spine, taking that twist deeper. Know that twists help us deepen forward bends. So it's a really good thing that we're doing a twist now before we go into that deep forward bend Marichyasana. Now keep the twist as much as you've established it. Start to lengthen forward so that you're going to try to reach out and grab the inner right foot with your left hand. See if you can grab the outer right foot with your right hand. Replace your hands with your strap if that's not happening. And either way, pull back and try to grow the length of left arm forward. Keep squeezing left knee to left shoulder, even though it wants to flop out. The work is really to hold it there tight. Pull back enough that your chest moves forward. And then see about releasing the left hand and rotating so that you have internal shoulder rotation, which will allow you to wrap the shin, reach around behind you, maybe have your hands connect back there. If they don't connect directly, you can always put a little spacer of a strap there if you really do want to connect. Otherwise, you can keep holding your foot. Big breath in, exhale, bow deeply over the right leg. And even though the shoulders want to really fall toward the floor, I'm doing as much work as I can. You can see the movement difference to lift and roll my shoulders back to keep my chest moving forward. Keep squeezing that left knee in, 2 more exhales. All right. Inhale to come up. Drop your strap or unhook your hands. We're all going to sweep the arms up. And exhale the arms down. Extend your legs. Give your legs a little shake. Bounce them out. Rolling pin them. Massage them. Do what you need to do. And then scoot forward so that you can turn your blanket onto the angle. We're going to do some Upavishta Konasana, which means we're going to do a wide seated fold. So you really just want to support the tailbone with the corner of the blanket. Your sitting bone should actually be down on the floor. So blanket is under tailbone, sitting bones are on the floor. So lift the flesh under the buttocks. Take your legs wide, put your toes in line with your heels. Start with your hands behind you and press your legs into the floor. Now keeping the breastbone forward, bring your hands in front of you and start to walk forward. Don't let your legs rotate. Don't lose the power of the legs. Let what the upper body is doing be secondary to maintaining the really secure foundation of your legs. Good. Come as low as you can. We'll stay for 10 breaths. And start to walk the hands in. Come all the way up. Now we'll kind of imitate what we just did, but we're going to bring the knees into a little bit more of a bent position. And then I'm going to have you bring your hands down to the floor. And then I'm going to have you slide your hands kind of outside the legs so that you're starting to take the shape of Kurmasana. This is similar to the shape of Kurmasana, although when we do the full pose, your legs are going to be straight forward and your arms are going to be out to the side. So this is very modified, but I want you to squeeze in with your knees, even though your arms want to have the legs do the other action. Squeeze your legs into your arms and then move your shoulders back, bring your chest forward, breathe. This is all good prep. Wonderful. Start to creep your hands out of the way, walk yourself back up and come into bound angle shape with your feet, bottoms of the feet together, letting your hips relax from all that pulling in. We're now just allowing the opposite action, just a couple breaths. Once again, I'm going to have you turn your blanket back to the edge. We're done with that corner. Okay, we're going to do a seated version of hand to big toe pose, which hopefully you remember from
a couple classes ago, the series of big toe poses. So you might remember if you need a strap or if you don't, you can work with a strap to your right leg to begin. So start from Dandasana, draw the right leg in, and either put the strap under the right foot or take hold of the big toe, hence the name hand to big toe poses. So you're going to be extending the leg in front of you. What your posture wants to do is slouch. So your work is to really pull your weight forward, to bring your chest forward, and to pull back on your big toe, whether you're using the strap or grabbing directly, so that you can get your shoulder back and your chest forward. Okay, take the leg out to the side. Keep anchoring into your left leg, really press it into the floor. Okay, now we're going to take it back to the middle, and either you're using the strap or you're grabbing directly. You're going to switch to holding with left hand now. Bring your right hand onto your right hip, sit forward again. If you lost that good posture, find your sitting bones, start to revolve your trunk to the right, and then extend the right arm out to the side. Come back to center, and you're either going to grab both straps with your hands or grab inner and outer feet with your hands. Big breath here. Exhale, bow toward the right leg. Go ahead and bend the knee and extend the leg. Again, bounce those legs, shake them out. Notice here, I'm noticing it on myself, my right heel is sitting about a ½ inch beyond my left heel. So just with that short hand to big toe sequence, I've grown the leg. Hopefully you see that too. I can even see it on the camera. I don't know if you can, but okay, same thing other side, left leg. So take hold of the foot with your strap, or you're hooking the big toe with your left first 2 fingers and thumb. Right hand props next to your hip. Anchor into your right leg. That's important. Begin to extend the left leg. Okay, pull back on the big toe or the foot with the strap. Stay over the sitting bones. Your grounded leg is not idle. It's really pressing into the floor. Exhale to open Parshva Padangusthasana. Back to center. Switching over to right hand holding straps or big toe. Left hand to left hip, revolve the trunk, keep yourself over your sitting bones. And when it's time, when you sense it's time, extending left arm sideways and continue to revolve the torso to the left. Continue to engage deeply into right leg and keep finding your way back on top of your sitting bones. Finish the exhalation. Inhale back to center, holding the foot with each hand or holding the strap with each hand. Inhale, sit forward, lift yourself up. Exhale, hinging the elbows, bowing deeply. Good. Lift yourself up, bend your knee, extend your leg. Give your legs a little bounce. Refresh those legs. All right. I'm going to turn sideways. I just think it would be easier for you to see the next piece of this building block work that we're doing. Instead of sitting on my blanket, I'm going to place it behind me so that I'm preventing myself from rolling back, hopefully. Okay, so we're going to start in bound angle, which is the open hip position. We're going to hook the big toes with our first 2 fingers and thumbs, sit up tall, and then join the knees together. There's that action of knees hugging in. Sit back, don't let yourself roll back on the blanket, and then begin to play with straightening the legs. Okay, go back to bound angle. Once the feet are down, sit up tall. You're just going to playfully do this a few times. Okay, so sitting back, extending the legs, bound angle, sit forward. Let's do it twice more. I might round a little bit to get in position, but once I'm there, I'm really trying to recover my lifted chest, my straight legs. Once you're in bound angle again, you're going to do it one last time. Good. And now have a seat in bound angle and scoot yourself back up on your blanket. Take a moment to hold your ankles and just kind of butterfly the knees up and down. All right, joining the knees, extending your legs. So the next pose is challenging, and I shouldn't probably even be teaching it because it is really, really advanced, but I thought it was important because it is a big piece of tortoise pose. So we're not going to get super deep into it. It'll be just kind of like, see if you can try this. I can't even show you the full pose. It's called Akarna Pidasana, which basically we're bringing one foot to the ear. Pidasana is the ear. Akarna means, what's it called? Archer. So it's like you're pulling a bow back just with one leg, but the action of keeping the knee close to the shoulder line. So one piece I've noticed for myself, especially when my back is a little stiff, is I tend to do better because this leg I'm showing to you, we're going to start with the right leg being the kind of the bow and arrow side. The left leg will be anchored. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a strap around my left foot because I can't really perform this action very well if I'm trying to stay here and hold the foot. So I'm giving myself more slack, giving myself more room to keep holding down here, which is important, but not to like compromise the pose, holding the foot directly. So I recommend you guys do that too. Okay, so we're going to start from Dandasana, sitting up tall, holding a strap around the left foot. Reach forward, grab your right big toe, anchor into your left leg, that's important. Start to draw that imaginary bow and arrow back. It's not as wide as it could be. It's hugging, it's grazing the side body. Bring the big toe toward the ear. Squeeze the knee in toward the body. And then see if you can come out just as gracefully. Lower the leg, set the foot down. While you're kind of leaning over, just switch your strap out to the other side and sit up tall. Okay. Okay, right hand has the straps. Left hand is gonna, first two fingers and thumb, hook the big toe. Anchor into your right leg. On an exhale, start to draw the left leg from the floor. The knee is right outside the shoulder line. The big toe is coming toward the ear. Squeeze your knee in. Keep anchoring into right leg. Keep trying to sit forward, keeping your chest open. Good, and then go back and bring your leg back into place as carefully as you drew it out of place. Take your strap off of you. Bounce your legs. Massage your legs if needed. Okay. Now a little bit of a different orientation. We're going to come into a lunging stance. And I'm just recommending you put a little blanket padding down because we will have a knee lowered. I'm just trying to pick which side you can see me better. So we're going to have the right foot forward, the left knee bent on the blanket. Move your right hand inside the right foot and put both hands kind of wrists beneath shoulders, palms down. Squeeze your right knee toward your right shoulder. Like really make that an action. And then to make that action kind of more significant, curl the left toes under and extend the leg. And that squeezing of your knee to your shoulder should help you stabilize a bit. Okay, we're gonna do a couple things with this. Keeping your right shoulder where it is, clasp the back of your right ankle with your hand. Now it's really important to keep squeezing the knee to the shoulder because I'm going to have you take your left hand to the front ankle. Three breaths. Good. And now step your left hand back down, place your knee. I want you to bring your right hand right outside the foot now and try to get your shoulder, right shoulder behind your right knee. Sit forward, extending the left leg from the floor again, and now really squeezing that knee toward the shoulder. Good. This is a big piece of Kurmasana, this knee and shoulder relationship. Okay, lower the knee, Untangle yourself, widen the knees, sit back, take child's pose, take a few deep breaths. And then as you're ready, setting up side two, you'll step left foot forward, right knee stays down. Both hands are within the space of the left foot. You're gonna just start by squeezing left, knee to left shoulder. And then just kind of building off of that, curl the right toes under, extend the leg. Keep your right hand where it is. And now see if you can take left hand to the back of the ankle, and now the knee and shoulder are really having to bond. Squeeze them together. And then once you have a really good bond, you should be able to cup the front ankle. Put your right hand back down. Your left hand goes outside the left foot. And then hug that left shoulder in, hug the left knee into the shoulder, squeezing for a few breaths here. Beautiful. Place the knee, untangle yourself, wide knees, feet together, sit back for a couple breaths in child's pose. Okay, now we're going to make the attempt on Kurmasana. We're very well prepared. That being said, this is a very deep pose, so whatever you do, it's going to be excellent. You're going to go back to sitting on the blanket. We're going to start from Dandasana. Okay, so firm your legs, sit up tall. This is Dandasana. Now bend your knees. Earlier we did a wider version of this. Now remember that clamping is a big piece of this pose, so we're not going to our wide full expanse. Your knees are bent kind of in Dandasana width, a little bit wider probably. Put your hands out in front of you. Squeeze the knees in toward the arms. Keep crawling the hands forward. Okay? Now what you're going to do is thread your hands into the space between your butt and your heels just to kind of get the arms out to the sides. Okay? You might not even get this far, honestly. This is a big old kind of tangle, right? But what you want to do if you are here is squeeze those knees in and attempt to straighten the legs, attempt to bring your chest toward the floor. Attempt to shoot your breastbone forward. And as you can see, I'm not in by any means the full version of the pose, but all we can do to get to that one day someday is to keep working on these building blocks and keep doing what we can. So I'm doing my best to lift my shoulders away from the floor, even though they want to curl up. I'm doing my best to straighten my legs and pull them into a narrower position. I'm trying to get my hands to creep out even wider. Good. Now, how do we get out? You have to drag your heels back, free your arms, extend your legs out in front of you. Come back to Dandasana. Congratulations, you earned a really nice full minute long Shavasana. Come onto your back. Sometimes in forward bends, practices that we do deep forward bends, your back wants more support. You might put something soft behind your knees. Take some time settling in. Try to get your shoulders down, your shoulder blades lifting. Your feet should be nice and wide. Your feet are flopping out from big toes to small toes. Not ideal to have blocks touching your toes. I just kicked mine out of the way. You really don't want to have props touching your body, except the ones like blankets that you're put there for a reason, because it pulls your attention out. So just close your eyes and just become interested in the rhythm of your breath, whatever it is. Try to smooth out any tension from your face. Noticing feedback from your body. Noticing where the body is still gripping, still tensing against. Become soft. Become expansive. Turning back out any energy that has turned in on itself, any contraction. Sometimes I imagine that I'm physically growing larger in this pose. Each time I breathe in, I'm just kind of inflating myself. And start to take a few deeper breaths. Maybe extending the fingers and then making fists, extending the toes, squeezing the toes. Maybe starting to rotate your wrists and ankles, maybe rocking your head. Bending the knees and the elbows. Gently easing to your side. From your side, easing yourself up to seated. And once you're seated, keep the backs of the wrists against your knees, pressing there. Just notice how it helps you bring the chest forward, and it puts your palms in a very receiving position, which has an effect on the mental attitude of being more receptive, looking toward your cheeks. Namaste.